I'm an honest guy. But yeah, I've got this weird habit of cleaning up other people's messes. The first time, I picked up a nightclub beauty who'd been beaten black and blue by some big shot just because she refused to drink with clients. I supported her for half a year. She swore up and down she'd treat me right. But then, on a rainy night, poof, she vanished without a word. The only thing she left behind was a red woven string she claimed was some family heirloom. I didn't quit. The second time, I picked up a campus goddess who had been bullied at school and wanted to end her life. She cried all the time, sobbing like crazy, saying I was her whole damn world. That one didn't last either. Half a month later, she hopped into a luxury car and drove off with someone else. The only thing she left me was a teddy bear she said was also a family heirloom. Finally, I sat down and really thought about my life and decided, man, I've got to change my ways. But then I saw a band's female lead singer passed out drunk on the street. And just like that, my white knight hands started itching again. That urge to pick someone up coming back like a bad habit. Once is a mistake. Twice is a lesson. There won't be a third time. This time, I'm damn sure I'll finally get lucky. Chapter 1. This hobby of mine has been going on for years. When I was a kid, I liked picking up pets people had thrown away, turtles, rabbits, stuff like that, and bringing them home to raise. When I grew up, I started picking up homeless beauties instead. People who know me curse me out. Call me trash. Call me a simp. Fine, whatever, I'll take that. But if you call me blind, man, that's when I really lose my temper. Every woman whose mess I cleaned up was a beauty, alright? So leave me alone, brothers. I've got my own rhythm. Sometimes I even hate my damn hands. But when I saw Willow collapsed by the roadside, her drunken eyes unfocused, she looked nothing like that radiant, energetic band vocalist you see on screen. A plucked phoenix ain't better than a chicken. Right now she looked pitiful as hell. And yet, there was something different about her. This was a model I hadn't collected. Taken over, before. That familiar urge to be the rebound guy for a beautiful woman started stirring again. I hesitated, then walked over. Willow, you okay? She replied softly, get lost. Didn't discourage me one bit. With a shameless grin I kept going. You don't look so good. Want to come to my place and rest for a bit? Okay, yeah. My intentions were a little too obvious. I quickly licked my lips and added with a smile, I won't do anything to you. Willow lifted her head and looked at me with pure disdain. Her hazy eyes were full of disgust at first, but when she clearly saw my face, she froze for a second. Not trying to brag or anything, but I'm pretty confident about this face of mine. Maybe not exactly Brad Pitt level, but if I entered the entertainment industry, getting on some top 100 handsome men list wouldn't be a problem. Seizing the moment, I pressed on. Come with me. My name's George, here's my ID. It's freezing tonight. You'll get sick staying out here. Then I added, I'm your fan. I listen to your Searching for Stars every day. To be honest, most of the time I was just watching the hot dance parts in her music videos. As soon as I finished talking, a shadow fell over me. Turns out Willow had stood up, swaying. She leaned against me in a half-hug, half-support posture, and muttered, let's go, fan. That easy. This woman is way too damn casual. But then again, my intentions weren't exactly pure either, so whatever. Willow came out of my bathroom wrapped in nothing but a towel. Clear droplets slid down from her beautiful collarbones and disappeared into the drain. I glanced a few times without even thinking, my hands still working. I was peeling an apple, about to make some sobering soup. Your stomach feels uncomfortable, right? I said gently. I saw how much you drank tonight. I made some soup. Have some to warm your stomach. Are you done peeling? Willow's cool voice, with a hint of seduction, came right beside my ear. You don't mind if I eat some, do you? Hiss. I instinctively raised my hand. A string of blood beads formed on my index finger. Willow frowned slightly, stepped closer, and grabbed my hand. Her fingers were long and pale, her chest pressing very close. A wave of warmth radiated from her body. Restlessness surged in my chest. Your hand is bleeding, she said. Her long eyelashes lowered as she carefully examined my finger. I was about to say it was nothing, but Willow lowered her head. Warm breath surrounded me. Dazed, I thought to myself, even if my original goal wasn't to hook up with her, she practically delivered herself to my door. Well then, I might as well accept it with a smile. The next morning I stood on the balcony, pulled out a cigarette, and fell into deep thought. I never expected yesterday had been her first time. Her body had been so tense, trembling. I had to comfort her for ages. Still, she got into it pretty quickly. I lit the lighter and quietly savored the memory. Willow still hadn't woken up. I sighed. She really can't handle much. Sigh, what else can I do? I already picked her up. Might as well keep her around and raise her. Chapter 2. My life was basically wrecked by this hobby. Without even realizing it, I had picked up so many beautiful women. Thinking back, the first woman I ever picked up was named Freya, a real knockout. She had peach blossom eyes. Every glance was full of charm. How should I put it? She looked deeply affectionate. Like she could look at a dog the same way someone looks at their first love. Back then I was a college student doing part-time jobs. She had been beaten black and blue and dumped in the back alley of the venue. A big sister who often looked out for me said she'd cover my shift and told me to take her away. She whispered in my ear. I heard a customer wanted her to keep him company. She refused and got beaten. The boss settled it, but doesn't want her anymore. I took her back to my rented place, $300 a month. A tiny room with nothing but a broken wooden bed. I bought iodine and anti-inflammatory medicine. In the middle of the night, she got a fever and started mumbling nonsense. I had to call a cab and rush her to the ER, spending several hundred I could barely afford. And then, following the trail of my burning cigarette, I looked at the buildings across the street. Freya was smiling while holding a bottle of perfume on a gigantic billboard. Next to her portrait were the words, International Best Actress Freya. When she latched onto some rich tycoon and rode away in a Bentley without even looking back, she probably didn't remember she still owed me several hundred in medical bills. Sigh. And on the very day she left, I picked up another girl, a pure and pretty female college student. Unfortunately, that one ran away too. Sigh. That's probably the fate of us white knights. Too damn honest. Too fond of beautiful women. And when the beauties keep running off, all we can do is keep accepting new ones. Chapter 3. Willow woke up. When she did, I was standing by the window. As she walked over, I asked, "Want a puff?" She tied up her hair and answered with actions instead of words. After such a hearty meal first thing in the morning, my stamina was completely wrecked. Letting her hook her arm through mine, I took her to a roadside breakfast stall near the apartment complex. From the moment we lined up, people kept staring at her. She ignored them completely. After sitting down, she casually wiped the table with a wet tissue. Completely drained, I started eating like a starving ghost who'd just reincarnated. Her phone rang. She said irritably, "Where did I go? Didn't I already say I quit?" "I'll say it again, I quit." Willow emphasized every word through clenched teeth, her face full of anger, nothing like the pitiful girl from yesterday. The voice on the other end snapped back. "You quit? Who do you think you are? If you don't do it, plenty of others will. Just wait and pay up, shameless trash." The filthy rant stopped instantly when Willow hung up. I struggled to swallow a bite of bun. "So Willow, you're not working now?" She snorted softly. "Yeah." She peeled a braised egg. I looked at her seriously. "Then I'll support you. That's the basic professionalism of a white knight." Willow fell silent. Then she reached out, poked my forehead, and laughed softly. Blinking, she said, "Sure." I took a deep breath. That easy? Could it be this rebellious Liu family heiress who ran away from home also lacks love? Suddenly there was noise behind us. "Miss, what are you doing here?" Another woman chimed in. "Yeah, this place is such a dump, full of poor people." People around shot her angry looks, but she didn't care. "What are you staring at? Do you even know these shoes are worth 10 years of your wages?" Then a female voice I once knew very well said from behind, "Just walking around. I've got class soon anyway." Then someone suddenly said, "Miss, over there, over there. That guy looks like your boyfriend." The flattering voice suddenly stuttered. The next second, "George, who is she?" I slowly swallowed the bun and turned around. The pure-looking female college student I once supported, the one who claimed she had no way out because of bullying, stood there with the very people who once bullied her. Her eyes were red as she stared at me. Chapter 4. The innocent-looking female college student was named Sophia. She was the famous campus belle of C University. Her face alone had made trending searches. Now she stood there with reddened eyes, looking pitiful and delicate, like she might cry any second. Beside me, Willow suddenly said with feeling, "She even cries pretty." Huh. Before I could say anything, Sophia exploded. "George, who is she?" She looked exactly like someone catching a mistress. I swallowed the last bite of my bun. What business is it of yours? Willow was tactful. She pushed soy milk toward me, stuck in a straw, and handed it over. Sophia's best friend couldn't hold it anymore and jumped in. Oh wow, where did this old woman come from? She's got some looks, sure, but she's way too old and kinda shameless too, seducing my bestie's boyfriend. She paused. But you do look kinda familiar. Don't tell me you had surgery to copy some celebrity. Makes sense. When you're old you should fix your face instead of embarrassing yourself out here. Even Willow's face turned green from the insults. I couldn't help laughing out loud. These little clique members were exactly the same as when I first met them. Their mouths were so sweet, like they'd been smeared with shit. The first time I picked up Sophia was on a rooftop. She stood on the edge looking completely hopeless while the people bullying her laughed loudly, provoking her to jump. Below were clueless onlookers and thrill-seekers getting impatient that she still hadn't jumped. The firefighters had already set up the safety air cushion. But as I looked at pitiful, helpless Sophia, amid the shouts of "jump" and "hurry up and jump already," Sophia stared straight at me. What rose in my heart wasn't sympathy. It was rage. Because the reason she had been bullied to the point of wanting to jump was fake. Chapter 5. Even though I love picking up beautiful women, we white knights still have principles. The kind who throws herself at me. I screen the goods. She's a pampered rich girl. The biggest hardship she's ever experienced is probably coffee without sugar. She's read way too many romance novels and is obsessed with playing those redemption games. She wants me to be the hero who saves her. When I was working part-time at the bar, cleaning, security, waiter work, tidying rooms, I overheard her laughing casually inside a private booth. She said, "I'm really good at training dogs. Honest guys need to be handled like this. Let that stinking loser really think he can save me." When the truth finally drops, the look on his face is gonna be priceless, straight up legendary. By that time, I'll have him wrapped around my finger, totally under my control. Her little clique erupted in cheers, glasses clinking crisp and loud. I quietly shut the booth door. People this arrogant? Yeah, they never noticed the folks around them. That's exactly how I learned Sophia's whole damn plan so easily. So when she started trying to seduce me, I played the role of a clueless, iron-willed straight guy, dense as a brick, acting like I didn't catch a single hint. She staged a fake fallout with her besties, pretended her family had hit hard times, claimed people were bullying her, and of course, I stepped in right away to protect her. In the end, when she figured the drama needed a big finale, she directed that whole rooftop jumping stunt, even having her best friend tip me off beforehand. The angrier I got, the calmer I became. I put on a gentle smile and said, "Sophia, come here. If they don't want you, I do." Her watery eyes lit up instantly, like some abandoned puppy finally getting found again. "George, are you really willing to be with me?" "Yeah," I said. "Come here. Let me hold you." I reached out my hand, soft and inviting. She walked toward me slowly. Then, bam, I yanked her over. Years of physical work had given me real strength. I dragged her in hard and hugged her tight, like I was clutching some treasure I almost lost. "Sophia," I said quietly, "be my little dog." She froze for a split second, then finally choked out, "Okay." Tears ran down her face, but she hugged me back anyway. My heartbeat was pounding like crazy, hers too. We held each other tight like the whole damn world had shrunk down to just the two of us. She never saw the fury burning in my eyes. That fury lit up a side of me nobody had ever seen. "You and your bestie bet you could turn me into your dog in a month? Heh, let's see in the end, who's really whose dog." Chapter 6. So even when she cried like pear blossoms in the rain, it didn't stir a single ounce of pity in me. Her face was slightly flushed, like she still hadn't fully come back to reality. Her skin was pale as snow, marks showed up beautifully on it. I reached out and stroked the attack speed tattoo on her chest. I had it tattooed for myself. Fresh ink. Looked even better now. She finally caught her breath and clung to me again. I pulled out a cigarette. Sophia behaved like a perfectly obedient little pet. She lifted the lighter and lit it for me. As a reward, I pinched her cheek. Smooth, delicate skin, felt pretty damn nice. Then I lightly slapped her face. She didn't complain, just touched her cheek and smiled. Well hey, who told this young miss to play obedient here? At first, when I did stuff like that, I could still feel a bit of anger from her. But later on, maybe she just got used to it. Sophia asked softly, Husband, you'll never leave me, right? If I didn't know exactly what kind of person she really was, I might have actually believed she was some love-starved puppy. I sneered inside, but looking into her eyes, I spoke like it was a heartfelt confession. Of course, Sophia is my most obedient little dog. As long as you don't run away again, I'll stay with you forever. Her face flushed slightly, no clue if it was from the slap or not. She pouted. But little dogs mess up sometimes too. If a little dog makes a mistake, wouldn't husband abandon it? I let out a cold laugh. Yeah, and if a dog isn't obedient anymore, is it still my dog? Shouldn't it just roll off and wander the streets? I flicked the ash from my cigarette. Some landed on her snow-white skin. Beautiful. Her whole body trembled. She didn't reply, just closed her eyes and kissed the side of my neck, clingy as hell. Husband, love me again. Whenever I was with her, she came when called and left when dismissed. Yet she seemed weirdly addicted to playing the role, letting me take whatever I wanted. Looking back, yeah, I was kinda scummy to her. But hey, who told her to start this whole thing with dirty motives? I was just returning the favor. I know how she found out my name. She heard it from Freya. Because the Bentley Freya got into back then belonged to Sophia's brother. After her brother made Freya famous, he transferred 5 million straight into my account to shut me up, afraid I'd expose their little story online. At that point, what else was there to say? I kept my promise. Stayed quiet. Didn't bother them. Never posted anything online. I even comforted myself with a nice little thought. Half a year, 5 million in the bank, plus gorgeous women around me. Which white knight wouldn't envy that? Chapter 7. Sophia might be a decent actress, but she was still young. For example, back when we ate at street stalls together, she couldn't hide her disgust at greasy tables and oil-stained chairs. Disdain would flicker across her brows and eyes every time. She could never match the calm, natural ease Willow had. Just like now. Even while questioning me, she subconsciously kept her distance from the food stall. Willow, on the other hand, laughed coldly. Oh, I get it now, she said. An ex, right? Sophia looked completely heartbroken. I always knew she was good at crying, so it didn't surprise me when tears poured out instantly. What did surprise me was the shocked expressions from her clique. While wiping her tears, Sophia shouted, I was only gone for half a month, and you already found someone new. You don't want me anymore. A massive wave of woe spread through the crowd. People stopped eating. People stopped heading to class. Phones came out everywhere, filming us. Whispers spread around. Isn't that Willow? The lead singer from that famous band. Looks like it. Figures, entertainment industry drama. Nice. Handsome guy, beautiful women. This kind of jealousy scene is perfect. Yeah, this wouldn't do. We honest folks who take over other people's messes have reputations to maintain. And honest people usually don't juggle two relationships. Unless they're pushed too far. After all, everyone says once an honest person snaps, there's nothing they wouldn't do. I quickly clarified. This has nothing to do with anyone else. Sophia, we broke up ages ago. A dog that runs away from home for half a month isn't worth searching for anymore, right? Camera flashes popped everywhere. Sophia choked on her sobs. Tears clung to her thick lashes, trembling but not falling, making her look even more alluring. Then suddenly, like she'd decided to go all in, she pulled down her collar. The marks on her neck were revealed. Pink imprints on snow-white skin, like a collar on a little dog. With a strange smile and tear-filled eyes, she said softly, But I am your little dog. Holy shit. That was the stunned reaction from the crowd. Holy shit. That was the panic scream from Sophia's clique. Sophia, are you insane? If your brother finds out, he'll kill all of us. Chapter 8. When someone doesn't love you, even if you slit your wrists, they'll only think the red lines look kinda pretty. When someone doesn't care about you, even if you hang yourself, they'll just think you're swinging on a swing. So I simply said calmly, done with the drama? Then get lost. Half a month of no contact counts as a breakup to me. No, that's not it, she screamed. My family locked me up. I never wanted to break up with you. I even left you a little teddy bear. That's my favorite plush. But then Willow chuckled softly. Locked up, is that a reason? Or just an excuse? If you don't even have the guts to return to your owner, how can you call yourself an obedient little dog? I was stunned. I couldn't let Willow, the beauty I'd just taken over, get upset over some ex. I signaled Sophia's friends to hold her back. They probably didn't want things to spiral either. They kept restraining her while she struggled nonstop. As I walked past her, I tossed out one line to her stunned face. It's just acting. Don't act so long you start believing it yourself, young miss. Who took any of this seriously anyway? Willow followed behind me as we pushed through the crowd. Once we were far away, she suddenly hugged me, looked up, and smiled. George, you're amazing. I had to admit, her voice really was something else. Cool, seductive, made my ears itch just hearing it. She was a total all-rounder singer with incredible natural talent. If I could become her manager, yeah, I'd definitely strike it rich. That's right. This honest guy had his own little motives too. I just wanted to be her manager. But the very first obstacle on my road to becoming one was her management contract. Chapter 9. Willow agreed to take me with her to the company to terminate it. I showed her my talent agent certificate and my lawyer's license. I'd been interning at entertainment companies since sophomore year. She flipped through them casually, barely interested, and set them aside. If you doubt someone, don't use them, she said. If you use someone, don't doubt them. Let's go. My heart skipped a beat. Even though I'd lied about being her fan, what she did today made me decide I'd actually listen to every song she ever released. Being manager for someone like her? Yeah, work would probably feel pretty damn good. Honestly, dissolving Willow's contract should have been easy. It was about to expire anyway. The real problem was her best friend teaming up with her manager to screw her over, trying to force her into signing a new unfair contract. They even got her drunk at a celebration dinner, hoping she'd sign while wasted. What they didn't expect was that Willow could hold her liquor. Not only did she stay sober, she saw through their scheme, fought her way out, and ran. Then she got picked up by a kind-hearted guy. Me. Today we were negotiating the compensation issue. Her manager wanted a penalty payment. I'd already called him once before, but he kept dodging questions, probably scared of being recorded. So after gathering fresh evidence, I set up a meeting and went with Willow to the company. What I didn't expect was that the company was the same one that made Freya famous, and also owned by Sophia's brother, Lucas. Before the car entered the underground garage, I saw a massive Freya poster hanging on the building. She sat with her legs crossed, high heels dangling, wearing that half-smile of hers. Her already perfect face, after professional styling, looked like shining diamonds. Sharp enough to cut you. It made me think of the days we lived together in that rented room. Sometimes she'd suddenly lean over and kiss me. I'd ask, confused, what was that for? She'd grin cutely. Can't I just want a kiss? Then you kiss me back. I pulled my gaze away and looked down at the documents in my hand. Sigh. Freya. The first beautiful woman whose mess I took over. Hard to forget. Chapter 10. Willow's manager looked polite and humble on the surface, but thinking about his shady methods made him seem downright disgusting. The bandmate who teamed up with him, the bassist, was there too. Willow walked in, sat down, and said only one thing. Terminate the contract. The manager smiled coldly. Crown is a huge company. Do you really think this contract is that easy to terminate? I stepped forward with a friendly smile and shook his hand. Hello, my name is George. I'm Willow Liu's new manager. Entrusted by Miss Liu, I'm here to negotiate the contract termination. The bassist looked at me with pure disdain and rolled her eyes. Willow. What? Couldn't win the lawsuit so you gave up? You grabbed some random college kid off campus to help you. I withdrew my hand, but kept smiling. I'd been working 3 years already. Comments like that didn't faze me at all. Miss Maria, I said calmly, there's no need to question my professional ability. Your professional level might not be very high, but that doesn't mean mine isn't. Maria's face turned bright red. Before she could fire back, I turned toward Willow's manager. Martin, we came here today to negotiate sincerely. I believe you're here for the same reason. But let's be real for a second. You should also understand who the most important person in this band actually is. None of us had it easy getting here. We all busted our backs to make it this far. So hopefully when this whole thing's over, we can at least part ways without bad blood. The manager was sharper than Maria. He looked at me cautiously and said, What exactly do you mean by that? I just smiled and played the full footage, everything. The video showed exactly how they forced alcohol down Willow's throat in that private room, and all the shameless crap they said once they thought no one was watching. On the screen, Maria's face was already red from drinking. She leaned closer to Willow and spoke in that fake soft voice. Willow, don't be stupid. You're just a girl who crawled up from the bottom. How exactly do you think you're going to fight capital? This little music dream of yours should have ended ages ago. Be realistic. She smirked. Why not just sign the contract? It's a good deal. Yeah, sure, it's tiring, but the money goes up. Don't act so high and mighty. Just nod your head, and you'll have everything. A contract where the company took 80% and Willow got 20%, and she had the nerve to call that a good deal. The Maria standing in front of us right now was also red-faced, but I seriously doubted it was from shame. Nah, that was pure anger. In the end, the contract was terminated peacefully. We agreed the final concert would still happen as scheduled. The manager clearly wasn't thrilled, but he kept his manners. He shook my hand and said goodbye. Only Maria stayed behind, still salty, still unwilling to let it go. She sneered at Willow. You're just luckier than me, able to live off that pretty face of yours. The elevator doors closed before she could finish her little rant. Chapter 11. Inside the elevator, I looked at Willow. What the hell did she mean by that? Does she seriously think your success comes from your looks? I always thought Willow's voice was the kind of gift anyone with functioning ears could recognize instantly. Honestly, the reason I even knew about that band in the first place was because of Willow's cover songs. Only later did I check out their original tracks. They weren't bad, but with Willow in the band, it still felt like a huge waste of talent. Willow pursed her lips and said casually, Maybe it's because I used my face to find you too. Ding. The elevator reached the ground floor. I casually pulled out a cigarette and smiled at her. Well then, I hope we can keep things like this. Happy cooperation. Come on, I'll treat you to a meal. She tilted her head and smiled right back. Sure, big brother. And literally the next second, George. I looked up. Standing in front of me was the woman plastered across this company's giant posters, the person I'd kept around for half a year, the young model who had been my first love. Those peach blossom eyes, eyes that could look at a stray dog with warmth, were staring straight at me in a daze. Best Actress Freya. Chapter 12. Freya was once described by countless movie fans as having eyes that always carried a hazy, unspoken tenderness, like there was always something she wanted to say, but never quite did. Back when I first picked her up, I didn't even have enough cash to pay for a hospital bed, so we spent the night sleeping in the outpatient corridor. The next morning, I woke up with my hand resting against the back of her slightly cold hand. I clearly saw something sparkling in her eyes. Half joking, she said, No one has ever treated me this well before. Then she leaned forward and kissed me. Even now, I still don't know whether that moment was just acting, or if it was one of the few genuine emotions she ever showed me. I looked at her, looked straight into her eyes, then glanced at the shocked crowd behind her. I frowned slightly. Hello? Long time no see. I paused. Are you going in? If so, let us get off first. Freya snapped out of her daze and stepped aside in a bit of a panic. I put my arm around Willow's shoulder. As we walked past her, I noticed Freya's fingers curl slightly, like she wanted to grab something. But a moment later she gave up. We walked out of the company building. As the elevator doors slowly closed, I didn't turn back. Still, I could feel someone staring at me. Next to me, Willow suddenly asked, Another ex? I sighed dramatically. Well, pretty high quality, right? Willow nodded seriously. Better than contestant number 1. I was speechless. Wait a second. Was she calling Sophia contestant number 1? Then she got it wrong. Freya was the real number 1. The following days passed in a blur. I was too busy to think about which contestant ranked where. Freya didn't come looking for me. With all the endorsements she had under her name, anyone with half a brain would know protecting their reputation mattered more than stirring up drama. Willow didn't plan to sign with another major company. Instead, she wanted to start her own studio. So I signed a manager's contract with her, and the two of us started building the studio from scratch. When people are insanely busy, they honestly don't have much energy left to think about romance. Sometimes when the mood hit, I'd invite Willow over to my place. Other times I'd head to hers. She became more familiar with me, more in tune with what I wanted. With both my body and mind relaxed, my career started thriving. Turns out, I could only fully bring out my talents when I was in this kind of state. Today, Willow and I attended a cocktail party. Lately we'd been showing up at banquets together pretty often. I had gone to some with Sophia before too, but back then I was mostly there to eat, drink, and chill. Now I was there to hunt for collaboration opportunities. There was one thing Maria got completely wrong. Willow wasn't some girl who clawed her way up from the bottom. That thought crossed my mind after I came back from discussing a partnership and saw Willow arguing with her mother. I had known for a long time that Willow was a rich girl. Because I'd said it before, I used to attend banquets with Sophia. And once, at one of those events, I saw Willow there. It was a banquet hosted by the Ito family. After eating and drinking my fill, I got bored and went upstairs for some air. In an unlocked room on the second floor, I saw Willow. She was wearing a pure white dress, looking like a princess. She was playing a sad piece on the piano, her eyes filled with melancholy. She glanced up at me once. Her hands never stopped playing. And I didn't leave. I quietly listened until the final note. Then I gently closed the door and walked away. She was the Ito family's second daughter, but she used her mother's surname, Willow Lu. So I already knew one thing for sure. She would stand on stage again someday. Chapter 13. I didn't comment on the argument between her and her mother, and she didn't bring it up either. Everyone has a few secrets they keep to themselves. That year, our studio slowly started building a name. Willow completely blew up after appearing on a music variety show. Overnight, she became a top-tier star. She was already gorgeous to begin with, bold, confident, and flamboyant. Add the cool band aura she carried, and fans flooded in like crazy. But she didn't listen to my advice about building a single persona. Instead, during a press interview, she casually tucked her hair behind her ear and said, "Isn't there a saying online? That I look like someone who's always in a relationship, just not a long-term one." She smiled. "Well, that's wrong." The reporter kept a professional smile, but was clearly thrown off because this definitely wasn't in the script. He tried steering things back. "So what you mean is, you currently don't have a boyfriend?" Willow wagged her finger. Her beautiful eyes locked onto the reporter and the camera. Then she smiled casually. "What I mean is, I do have a long-term boyfriend." 3 minutes later, those words were everywhere online. 5 minutes later, they were trending. My phone practically exploded. Calls kept pouring in, all asking about Willow's sudden confession. Thankfully, it didn't affect her work. Maybe the public already had realistic expectations about the entertainment industry. As long as nothing too crazy happened, this kind of thing barely counted as scandal. The only problem was that some of her fans started digging into who this long-term boyfriend was. Unfortunately, that task was ridiculously easy, because Willow had never hidden it. She had openly linked arms with me at the movies before. She had worn sunglasses and kissed me at tourist spots while taking photos. There were even pictures of her standing under Freya's advertisements, making heart gestures with me. Those photos shot straight up the trending charts. Freya's fans jumped into the comments. I knew it. Our queen's fans are everywhere in the entertainment industry. Other fans commented, "She's really pretty. Her boyfriend, well, he's definitely a man. Good match. Blessings." I was completely speechless. Eventually, I sighed in relief. At least it didn't affect our work. But I relaxed way too early. 5 minutes later, my phone completely crashed. Freya's first love. #1 on the trending list. The forums literally went down. Chapter 14. I sat in a private room wearing sunglasses, waiting for Freya. She was still firmly sitting at #1 on the trending list. Below it were a bunch of related topics. Freya's first love. Freya Willow's manager. Freya and Willow love rival. Willow deliberate provocation. I rubbed my temples. My head was pounding like crazy. I took another sip of alcohol. I had no idea what kind of madness possessed Freya to suddenly post that photo online. In the photo, a man was smiling brightly. He still looked a little young. His clothes were low-key, but his handsomeness was impossible to hide. He was facing the camera with a clean, sincere smile, holding a huge bouquet of roses. You could tell he liked being photographed. His eyes were full of affection, and you could also tell the person behind the camera loved him deeply, because he looked especially alive in that photo. Looking at that picture, I genuinely wanted to wish those two people eternal happiness. If the guy in the photo hadn't been me. Willow reposted Freya's update. She didn't say a single word, just added a question mark. Her comment section instantly filled with question marks too. The door opened. Freya walked in lightly. She was only wearing a mask. After entering, she removed it. She blinked at me. "George. Last time I didn't get the chance to say it. Long time no see." I snapped. "Freya, are you out of your damn mind?" I had zero mood for reminiscing. "What the hell were you thinking posting my photo?" She tilted her head innocently. "Why can't I post it? What's wrong with posting a picture of my boyfriend?" I took a deep breath and clenched my teeth. Did you lose your memory? We broke up 7 or 8 years ago. I seriously couldn't understand her logic. Was this woman insane? But she just shook her head. George, you don't need to worry. This won't affect you at all. She pulled out her phone and showed it to me with clear interest. The one it affects is Willow. Look, no one is scolding you. They're all calling Willow a homewrecker. I exploded. First of all, Willow's work is my work. If she gets hit, I get hit. Do you even know how much money I'd have to pay in damages? She cut me off. So what? If there's compensation, I'll pay it. Freya spoke urgently. All the money I've earned over the years. I'll give it to you. There was absolutely no reasoning with her. I stood up and opened the door, ready to leave. But the moment the door opened, Freya rushed forward and hugged me. Her tears fell heavily, soaking my clothes. Choking with sobs, she said, I regretted it a long time ago, George. I've wanted to come back to you for so long. Back then I was too insecure. My family, my background, my past work, everything about me was a mess. I was scared that someday you'd look down on me too. Lucas only valued my abilities. Our relationship was purely boss and subordinate. I've only ever loved you. I paused. For that late apology. I stopped for 3 seconds. Then I opened the door and walked out. What she didn't know was that there had never been any misunderstanding between us. Lucas had already come to see me a long time ago. Chapter 15. The first time Lucas came looking for me, it was to convince me to break up with Freya. Not because he wanted her, but because the image he planned to build for her didn't allow a boyfriend. He gave me a sum of money. I accepted it happily. Before leaving, he even gave me a meeting gift, a ridiculously expensive watch for a student. In exchange, he took the bracelet Freya had braided for me with her own hands. The second time he came looking for me, it was because of his sister. He sighed. George, you really are something. I admire you. This time he gave me even more money. And I agreed even faster. He smiled. Honestly, I would have supported you marrying my sister. Unfortunately, Sophie is too wild by nature. You two wouldn't suit each other. This latest scandal brought us back to the same table again. Lucas looked slightly helpless. Freya's contract is about to expire anyway. She's not renewing. I didn't even want to spend money on PR. It was my sister who went crazy and paid for it herself. I hadn't expected to hear Sophia's name again. Lucas smiled slyly. To be honest, I think highly of you. This has nothing to do with anyone else. You simply have the ability to make money. No matter how big the scandal, with enough money it can be suppressed. No matter how deep the grudge, with enough money people can still sit down and talk peacefully. We started a new collaboration with Crown. Willow had no objections. Business is business. Sophia began using work as an excuse to visit me. She'd deliberately wear low-cut outfits to catch my attention. No reason not to look. Freya slowly faded from the spotlight, filming only 1 movie per year. I often saw her around my neighborhood. As for Willow, she never asked me to take responsibility. She rarely spoke about it. But whenever I needed her, she was there. The studio recruited a new batch of trainees. I flipped open their profiles, then paused. The girl in the ID photo looked young and unpolished, but she looked about 80% like Freya, except her eyes were far more seductive. One glance, and you could tell, she wasn't someone you'd want to mess with. Her name was Anna. Suddenly, I thought back to when I had just turned 18, the year I met Freya. Freya came from a small town. She never went to college. After graduating high school, she went straight to work in nightclubs. Her story was the most cliché one imaginable. A gambling father, a sick mother, a broken life, and a younger sister still in elementary school. After we finished that night, she told me everything with tears in her eyes. I looked at her with sympathy. Then the next second, she lit a cigarette and burst out laughing. Kid, you actually believed all that? Believe it? Of course I did. Because I was adopted too. And I also had a younger brother. How should I put it? Just bad luck. After my parents adopted me because they couldn't have children, they suddenly got pregnant. So I became the extra one. I used to love picking up stray animals. Later I stopped. Because my brother always liked taking what belonged to me. Even when I was young, I was already thinking about something. I pick people up. I pick women up. I even pick up beautiful women. And I refused to believe some foul-mouthed little brat could compete with me for them. From that moment on, the idea rooted itself deep in my mind, taking over those so-called pure, innocent beauties after someone else had already ruined them. Looking at Anna's seductive eyes and brows, I smiled faintly.